Hello everyone and welcome to Channel 18 TV News. I'm Don Julian filling in for Jim Rogers today. And in the news, the Sulphur Springs Special Crimes Unit began an investigation into the possession and sale of methamphetamine by a 25-year-old Sulphur Springs woman. As a result of the investigation, Lorene Leanne De Leon was arrested on 2 warrants for manufacture delivery of a controlled substance more than 4 grams but less than 200 grams. De Leon is in the Hopkins County Jail, held on bonds totaling $200,000. On Tuesday, following a special meeting of the Sulphur Springs City Council, Doug Moore filed to seek election to Place 6 on the council. Moore, who currently serves in Place 6, was appointed to the place following the resignation of Dan Fronberger. Fronberger resigned the place midway through his term to pursue more time with family and other pursuits. In nominating Moore, then Councilman Clay Walker noted that Moore is qualified for the council by experience and training, and Moore is a certified public accountant and has been in business in the city for a number of years. Moore has served on the Planning and Zoning Commission and the Industrial Foundation. Opportunities to file for places 4, 5, and 6 continue through February 15th. Emily Glass, incumbent Place 5, filed for re-election on the morning of the first day of filing. Currently, Place 4 is held by Freddie Taylor. Taylor has said he will be filing for re-election. During the special session of the council Tuesday, Taylor, Glass, and Moore, along with Mayor John Sellers, voted to approve bids for the rebuild of Sunset Street. 3 members of the council, Erica Armstrong, Jimmy Lucas, and Norman Sanders, were unable to attend that meeting. The bids for materials for the Sunset Street project were awarded to the lowest bidder that met material requirements. Although our local newspaper said property being donated to the city of Sulphur Springs could threaten groundwater in the area due to coal ash dumps, City Manager Mark Maxwell has been assured by Luminant Mining that there are no dumps at the Thermo Mine site. He also notes that the dump sites for the coal ash are downstream from Hopkins County. All coal mined at the Thermo site was transported to Monticello Power Plant southwest of Mount Pleasant and buried there, according to what Maxwell was told. With no power plant locally, the coal ash would not be disposed of in Hopkins County. The City Council approved the start of the land transaction in a signing ceremony in October of 2018. A newspaper article that raised questions regarding coal ash buried in Hopkins County stated that the agreement was signed Tuesday in special session. The Tuesday special session this week approved only the materials to be used on Sunset Street.
Through various fundraisers during 2018 and then this Saturday's gala, the Lights of Life campaign is nearing its $500,000 goal for purchase of needed equipment. There's also more telemedicine good news from Christus Mother Frances Hospital. Let's find out more from Holly Reagan.
Actually, today we'll be having our first day of pulmonology outpatient clinic. So that will be on every other Wednesday. And that is in the plaza, which is the 3-story building out front of the hospital on the 2nd floor. And that offers pulmonology to patients who normally have to drive out of town to see a pulmonary specialist, and they can come to Sulphur Springs and get their care. And also it's a telemedicine clinic, so that means basically that the physician is remote. He's not on site, but you still come in and have a clinic experience. You still check in at the front desk, and you come in and a nurse checks your vitals and does everything they do in the clinic. And then the telemedicine provider pops on the large screen, and you have the stethoscope and all of his tools connected where he can listen to your heart and lungs just like normal. And the nurse is kind of his hands and feet and stay in the room with you and help do the physical exam exam. And so it's pretty much just like a typical visit, except you don't have to travel out of town to get that care.
And isn't that amazing?
It is.
I know younger people think all this is rather, to be expected, but the advances in medicine that's even affecting our lives here in small towns is just wonderful. So a pulmonary or pulmonology is also part of the telemedicine offer.
It is. And we will also be having a neurologist who can see seizure patients, Parkinson's, stroke patients as well. And they will be here on Mondays. And that's another opportunity for patients who typically drive out of town to see a neurologist to stay here in town. And if anyone's been to the hospital recently, we already have this technology in our hospital via a cart, which moves room to room. And that way, if we do need a consult from a specialist that we don't have here in Sulphur Springs, we have access to some of the very best specialists in the Metroplex, and they can still do the exam, and they're just remote, and the nurse and the nurse practitioners are the hands and feet. And so we actually have this technology available in that clinic setting now too. So this is an extension and also helps with that continuum of care. If they have been seen in the hospital and they need a follow-up, again, instead of driving out of town and taking a day off from work and having family members shuffle their schedule, they can stay here in Sulphur Springs and get the same care.
A little bit more on that. Let's say someone needed to see the pulmonologist, and they have one, and it's in another town, but they find that the telemedicine offer through our hospital might benefit them to not have to drive. Do they consult with their doctor that it's okay to
Absolutely.
use this?
They can speak with their current pulmonologist and ask that they be referred here locally.
Okay.
If they are not established with a pulmonologist, they can talk to their primary care physician, their family physician, if they have symptoms going on, and that physician can decide if it's necessary for them to see a specialist.
Okay.
And if so, our local physicians are aware that now that we have that specialty, so they can offer that to them if they don't have someone that they are using out of town.
Okay, wonderful. So we've talked about neurology and pulmonology, both available here on telemedicine, and psychiatry?
Psychiatry, that's right. And that is behavioral health, if you've seen in the news, is a huge problem, and a huge, not even necessarily problem, but problem to access providers. And so this is another way to connect and bridge that gap between lack of access to physicians and now to those patients here locally. And so that's another thing that we do on Tuesday afternoons, and that is another specialist, and they can come in for their visits for psychiatry instead of making that trip out of town.
And that's something you do on Wednesday afternoons?
Tuesday afternoon.
Oh, Tuesday, okay.
Yes. And I'll be happy to share the information, phone number, so that they can schedule accordingly.
Okay. So these have to be scheduled on certain days so that the equipment is available specifically for those needs?
Yes, so the equipment is installed in the exam room, so every clinic room looks the same, and the patient just comes in like a normal visit, and they have very large screen wall-mounted televisions with high-definition cameras, quality microphone and speaker sound. And then, like I talked about, the stethoscope is connected so that the physician can listen to the lung sounds and heart just like they could if they were in the room. And the only thing that changes is which provider is available which day, and that is just like your standard clinic. If you see a specialist, sometimes they are only available on limited days.
Certainly. Okay, so that's not exactly new technology. We've had the telemedicine, but new types of services.
Yes, and we want to close that gap and continue the care for follow-up from the hospital. That way we don't serve the hospital population solely with telemedicine and then have to send them out of town for follow-up.
Okay.
So this is that continuum piece.
Okay. Good news from Christus Mother Frances Hospital. And some new equipment may soon become available to the hospital through the efforts of the Healthcare Foundation.
Yes, and so this weekend we're having our Lights of Life Gala, which is sort of the milestone. I want to say ending milestone, but it doesn't technically end just yet, for our Lights of Life campaign. And this year we will be purchasing, with the funds raised, a Hologics 3D mammography system with biopsy option. So that, again, is another piece that we can add very state-of-the-art equipment here in Hawkins County, and our patients will be able to come in and get a 3D mammogram, and they won't have to drive out of town for that service. And then it also has the biopsy option, so that on site they can do the biopsy and they're not waiting for questionable results.
Again, amazing. Now, we ladies have to have our mammograms, but now it is becoming simpler to get to or schedule that and stay right here in town.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And one of the things that really impressed me about this equipment is the reduction in callbacks. That this equipment, having the on-site biopsy, where they can, if they see something that is of interest, they can actually decide the location of the nodule or whatever's going on and biopsy right there on site. And what happens typically is, on a mammography, you might travel out of town, or even if you get it, within a little bit of a close distance, you may get a call back that, hey, we saw something suspicious, we need you to come back, and you're sort of in that 2 to 3 week waiting limbo. Oh my goodness, should I be concerned? And this actually reduced the number of false callbacks by 40%. So, there's a lot of tension and stress that comes with waiting for a suspicious result. And instead of having to wait, we will be able to look right then and do that biopsy on site and get a quicker result and a more accurate result.
I know when Meredith came in, we talked about this Hologics 3D mammogram system with biopsy option. It's an expensive piece of equipment to be permanently installed in a portion of our hospital called the Women's Center. Is that going to become a reality?
Yeah, so our goal for this year was $500,000, and that was to purchase the equipment. And then we will have naming opportunities for the wall and the rooms that will take place for a dressing room and those kind of things that go strictly with the mammography system. But our long-term goal is to put a women's center and be able to bring all of that imaging piece into one location, so women can come in and get all of those services done in one spot.
Well, I want us to have a women's center.
Me too.
Well, much progress has already been made towards these goals, and so that's largely through the Healthcare Foundation and Lights of Life campaign.
And we've had a very successful year. We've added a couple of new, we call them mini fundraisers, but there is nothing mini about them. They're a large lift, and our committee does a fantastic job helping us put those on. We added a concert this year, which raised over $30,000, and that's one of the largest single fundraisers we've done preceding the gala. We changed our flyer flag a little bit this year, and increased that revenue by around $5,000.
Okay.
We added Bras for a Cause, which went perfectly with our mammography system purchase. And we had local businesses and local individuals decorate bras, and that raised over $13,000. And for the first year, that's fantastic. And we also have a lot of people excited and already brainstorming on their bra for next year. So we love that, and we had a great time doing that. So we are moving right towards that $500,000 goal, and hope to make some money at the gala. And we have a lot of things that we're planning at the gala, such as our live auction and silent auction.
Well, if someone just moved here and doesn't know what we're talking about with gala, just give us a little brief rundown on what that phenomenon is.
Okay, that is this Saturday, and that's January 26th. I'm having a brain fart.
I think it is.
Okay, 26th, and it's at 6 o'clock p.m. And we stay till midnight. We have a cocktail hour from 6 to 7, and then we have dinner catered by Macklin's in Dallas, and then we have a live auction. and we have a live band, and we have some other surprises in store. We also have the silent auction, and so to purchase tickets, there probably still are some available, limited, so I would say reach out to Meredith Cadell at the foundation office at the hospital today, and the phone number to the hospital is area code 903-885-7671, and they can ask for Meredith Cadell or for Betty Finn, who is our very dedicated secretary.
She really is.
She does a great job.
She runs to keep up with Meredith.
She does run. She does.
So the gala will feature music, the catered dinner, the auction and the silent auction. It's a Las Vegas theme.
It's a Las Vegas. So our theme, we really wanted to, my husband and I, when we decided the theme, wanted to reiterate to our community that the money that was raised towards this campaign stays in Hopkins County. I think a lot of people, there might have been some misconception that money went to Christus Tyler, Christus Irving, or other hospitals, but actually our Hopkins County Healthcare Foundation benefits our local hospital. So all of the money raised will go to purchase equipment for our hospital only, and it does not leave this community. So the theme is Vegas, what's raised in Hopkins County stays in Hopkins County.
Cute. Well, we know that gala will be just an over-the-top event. It happens this Saturday. Then the fundraising still will be counting up towards that $500,000 goal. But you have another brief event on February 13th.
I do. So February, as you know, is Valentine's Day, and then it's actually Heart Health Month. And so the hospital is going to partner with Advanced Heart Care, who is our local cardiology group. And we are going to have on February 13th, that's a Wednesday, from noon to 1, and it's open to the public and it's free for anyone to join us, a little lunch and learn where we'll serve lunch and have Dr. Alleghetti, he's one of the cardiologists, and he's going to speak on heart health, heart awareness.
And this will be at what location? It
will be at our plaza, which is the 3-story building in front of the hospital. When you enter the doors on the main floor, the room is on the left. It's our conference room.
We'll remind the public about that.
Fantastic.
Thank you, Holly, for coming in today.
Thanks for having me. I enjoyed
a pleasure.
it.
Okay. Senior Market Development with Christus Mother Frances Hospital here in Sulphur Springs.
And now in the sports, the 5th-ranked Wildcats basketball team won another district squeaker when a shot that could have beaten them failed to fall. The Wildcats defeated Royce City 53-51 Tuesday in the main gym at Sulphur Springs High School. The Wildcats had to play without their top 2 scorers. And here's Sulphur Springs coach Clark Cipolletta.
Just kind of hope for the best, and I think our defense has really stepped up in those moments and got us stops when needed, and kids did what they had to do to win.
Yeah, you have to have some of your top 2 scorers not playing. You have to have somebody step up, and you had several guys did that.
Yeah, I was really proud of them. With Sadadrian Hall and Keystone Willis out, they're so talented on both ends of the floor, but really offensively takes away a ton of our scoring. And I was super proud of Grayson, came in early, knocking down shots, really helped our spacing. Boo, just kind of our utility man, kind of does everything inside, outside. Xavier had a huge game scoring it. We tried to really force feed him and Cameron last night because we felt like that's where we had our advantages, and they did a good job of finishing shots. And everybody else who got in the game, Jeremiah, who stepped into the kind of the point guard role and has had to do a few more things, and he plays so good defensively, just chasing guys and making it hard for them to score. So I was just really proud of our guys, the way they rose to the occasion and stepped up when needed.
Down by 11 at half, but I thought the big change in the second half was that we went inside so effectively to Cameron Kahn and to Corp.
Yeah, and we really tried to do that the first half. I don't know, we just didn't execute it well, and we worked on it in practice. So I was a little frustrated going into halftime that we didn't get the ball to the spots we wanted to, that we knew we had advantages at, and just went back over the game plan, and I was proud they came out and executed. And I think a large part of that is we got stops defensively. when you're not getting stops defensively and you're taking bad shots on this end, Royce City stays in transition, and that makes them even more effective.
All right, a couple of heroes at the end of the game. Boo Wilkerson hits an enormous three, and then Jeremiah Rowland does what Jeremiah Rowland does, and he blocked the last shot.
Yeah, it's kind of a breakdown play. We were going to go inside to Xavier court and put pressure on him backside just in case he missed. I had Cameron on the opposite end, and they got a deflection on the pass. We didn't quite throw it to the spot we wanted to with that guy playing on his high shoulder. We should throw it a little bit more right, but play broke down, and we talk about it all the time. 50-50 balls win you the game, and Grayson came up with that 50-50 ball, made a great pass out to Boo. Boo caught it in rhythm, let it fly, and went in.
Now Lindale coming up, and they're very interesting this year with a 7'1" post.
Yeah, they beat Royce City by like 20, but lost to Mount Pleasant last night by 5. Gave Texas High a really good game. So they're a really solid, well-coached, fundamental team. They play well on both ends of the floor, take great shots, run a lot of sets, have a big kid inside. They have spacing and shooting. Not the most athletic team, but they play hard, so they make up for it in those areas. So we just got to game plan and get ready for that game.
And we just hope Keyston is a quick healer, and hope to have Day back Friday, we hope.
Yeah, I think more realistically he'll be back that next Tuesday. Unfortunately, we'll see. I think that's what I was told. So we're just, guys got to step up and rise to the occasion in those moments.
The Wildcats are 4-0 in district play and 18-8 for the season, and the Wildcats will be playing Lindale at home on Friday night. Lady Cats basketball team was down by 13 points at the half to Royce City at home Tuesday night, but then rallied with a big third quarter. In the end, they came up just short, 58-53. And Lady Cats coach Brittany Tisdale.
It was a very intense game, a lot of emotions. I thought we played really well, especially defensively. We had to overcome a lot of battles in that game. And as a team, I really think that was our best game as a team.
They had a good lead at halftime, but what a third quarter for us where we get, I think, within 1 point.
Yes, we outscored them 19-7 in the third quarter, so it was a huge quarter for us. And now we got in major foul trouble with our starters in that quarter, so that hurt a lot, but we still had an amazing third quarter.
And then I guess they just made a few more points in the fourth quarter down the stretch, and that was the difference in the game.
Yes, they were 70-something% from the free throw line. They went like 27 of 37 or something like that, something crazy. And our free throws, we were 13 of 31 or around there. And so that was a big difference maker at the end of the game, you know, when we're down to the wire and they're making a lot of free throws and we're not making as many. So their free throws pulled them out with the win.
Yeah, you could make the point if you get 20 instead of 13, you win the game. You know, hit 20 instead of 13 free throws.
Oh, yes. If we would have went 70% from the free throw line, that would have been 9 more free throws, and that would have put us winning by 4. So.
All right. Well, we move on now, and you've got Lindale coming in on Friday.
Yes. So we'll be getting ready for them Wednesday and Thursday, and we'll move on from this one and do what we can do with the rest of the district.
The Lady Cats are now 3-3 in district play, and they're 21-6 for the season, and they'll be hosting Lindale Friday evening. The number 23 ranked Saltillo Lady Lions basketball team went to 7-0 in district play with a dominating victory over Union Hill, 64-6 at Union Hill Tuesday. The Lady Lions led 18-2 after the first quarter, 44-2 at the half, and 56-3 after 3 quarters. Maddie Smith had a big game for the Lady Lions with 23 points. Anna Reeder had 14 points. Chandler Bain scored 10 points. Brittany Peoples scored 7 points. Jocelyn Ochoa had 4 points. Reagan Spear scored 3 points. Trinity White added 2 points, and McKenna Gurley had 1 point. The Lady Lions hit 12 of 13 free throws. They're now 24-8 for the season. The Lady Lions play Avenger at home Friday at 5:30 p.m. Saltillo Lions basketball team got a good solid win over Union Hill, 58-40 Tuesday night at Union Hill. The Lions built a solid lead over the first 3 quarters and then coasted home. The Lions are now 4-1 in district play and 19-8 for the season. Chris Bocourse led the Lions with 28 points. Ben Moore had 10 points. Andrew Redburn had 6 points. Matthew Gurley and Levi Hoover had 5 points apiece. Dylan Beadle scored 4 points, and Eddie Olejo had 1 point. The Lions will play Avenger in Saltillo on Friday. And in the cold and rain, the Wildcats soccer team defeated Pittsburgh 1-0 on the road Tuesday night. The Wildcats are now 3-5-1 from the season. We hear from Wildcat soccer coach Alexi Upton.
It was real cold. I still have a little sore throat because I woke up this morning in some pain. But yeah, it was cold. It was wet. The wind was coming down sideways, and it was nasty. But I mean, credit to our group. We really just grinded and came out with a result. It was 1-0, and it was a little ugly, but that's really what we needed for this group. We just needed a little bit of confidence, and we just needed to win to get us back on track where we belong. So.
Tell us about the goal.
The goal was just a great run by Ricardo Torres, the junior. He just ran down the side, played a good ball into Enrique, our senior, and one of our captains, and he just finished it off. And then from there, we got to kind of settle into the game and kind of just play our own game and kind of control it a little better. So.
Did you score early in the first half?
Yeah, it was early in the first half, probably about 20 minutes into the first half. It was about halfway through the first half, and then the rain really just started coming down in stairwells. I mean, it was real bad. But credit to our guys. They made the most of it. There were slide tackles everywhere and people flying around. They just enjoyed it. They're kids. They had a lot of fun. They're paying for it today because a lot of them were like, "Coach, I'm sick. I don't feel good." But they loved it last night. So.
Yeah. Now you got Pleasant Grove coming in. That'll be a home game over at the Prim on Friday night.
Yes, I don't really know too much about them. They're 0-2. They only play 2 games. They didn't play any tournaments. I think that might be due to the fact that they went to state for football. Maybe that conflicted with their schedule. But yeah, I mean, you just don't really know a lot about them. They have not really any film or anything to gain from, or anything to look at. So kind of an unknown. So hopefully we go out there and we just play to the best of our ability. Hopefully we can keep our streak going.
As you mentioned yesterday, 3 more games now to try to hone everything for district play.
Yeah, absolutely. 3 more. Pleasant Grove on Friday, playing Lovejoy away next Friday, and then the Friday after that, we play at home again in the Prim versus Melissa. 3 games that we can go and play really well against. Lovejoy is a really good challenge, but the other 2 are definite wins if we do things right. So.
The Lady Cats soccer team lost a close match in bad weather in Athens on Tuesday night by the score of 2-1. The Lady Cats are now 0-8-3 for the season. Here's Lady Cats coach Joel Bailey.
Good experience for the JV. Second game of the year, they ended up winning 3-1. Goals scored by Mari Flecker, Alexis Franks, and Kimberly Arcega. They jumped on them early, and JV's had some pretty good successes. Tomorrow they start a tournament in Wiley East, so they'll see a district competitor with T-High. They also play community, and they play Wiley East. Just a showcase format, just to get in 3 quick games over 3 days and start preparing for a couple more preseason home games. We've got 3 in a row here in a couple weeks, and then we start district on February the 9th at Greenville, so it's coming quick.
All right. Did you give me the varsity results?
Yeah, varsity results, we nail biter. We lost 2-1. They scored quickly, and then we countered again, and late in the second half. They scored 1 on us right at the beginning of the second half, and it was just a through ball in, and then the girl just ran in there and hammered it home, and then the wind shifted, and so we had the wind in both halves at our back, which is an oddity, but we kept scrapping and fighting and tooth and nail, and just fell a little short.
Tell us about the Lady Cats goal.
Haley Robinson, just a through ball to her, and she just took charge, put her head down, and dribbled in, and just blew it right past the goalkeeper. So a great goal for Haley. She's obviously battling with a broken wrist, and padded up, and she's still scrappy and getting after it, and she played exceptionally well, along with countless others that were with us last night. But it's tough when you're playing in the rain. When the wind is all over the place, it just, for a team to possess the ball, it definitely wrecks things. But the girls, they keep competing, they keep battling, and hopefully we've got a little rest break coming up and just kind of regroup and get healthy again, and then get ready for Wiley East on February the 1st, next Friday.
That's Channel 18 TV News for today. I'm Don Julian, filling in for Jim Rogers. Thank you for joining me. And so long, everybody.